Hello, you. It's me. And things are coming fast and furious in the whole gypsy whipsy world. I just hate saying gypsy world or whatever, gypsy verse. I just don't feel like she deserves having that kind of recognition. Anyway, wow, a lot has happened. I was watching some videos. Hold on. Okay, the air was right on directly me, and I don't know if that affects how I sound, but I'm trying to sound as good as I can. Anyway, I was watching Pink Chihuahua, and she played this video that apparently Gypsy has put out. I guess that's a TikTok. I don't know. I don't have TikTok, so I rely on other people to show it. But it was like a video. I guess it was supposed to be like a poem with music in the background, begging Ken to love her, essentially. That's what I got from it. Go watch it on Pink Chihuahua's video and you'll see what I mean. It's just literally like, oh, let's love like we've always loved, like we promised to love forever, blah, blah, blah. It sounds desperate. It's incredibly desperate. That, along with the video that she did where, when you love a gamer or something like that, and she's trying to get attention. Gypsy is desperate for Ken's attention. In fact, I even saw on, what is her name? Renelle Smith. I hope I said that right. She had a great video, and in one of her clips, she was showing a bunch of pictures that were all of Gypsy and Ken, and possibly one of Aurora that was put face down so you couldn't see it. But all these pictures of Gypsy and Ken and Renelle, I hope that's how you say your name, was so spot on when you're like, when you have kids. I had walls, hallways full of pictures of my child, literally all over. I had professional photos done. I had those up on the wall. I had pictures that I had taken that I had framed and put up on the wall. I have one child, and that child dominated nearly every wall and everywhere that I lived. And there was one with me in it because it was a Christmas photo. It was my child's first Christmas, and it was her and I, a professional photo of us together for her first Christmas. Granted, I wasn't with the father, but even if I was, the walls would still have been dominated with my child. And maybe that Christmas photo would have been with him and me and the child. That could have been. But yeah, photos everywhere. And I'm worried is what it is. As I think about this, and I worry because she seems so desperate, desperate for attention. She's not even begging for a ring anymore. She just wants to say, hey, love me already. Come on, love me. Do it. Love me. Why don't you love me? Love me. And I could just hear Gypsy saying that. Just begging for it. But there's a problem with Gypsy feeling that desperate. There's a problem because she's a murderer. She murdered her own mother to get out of what she said was a desperate situation. She wasn't being threatened. She just didn't like the fact that her mother was ill and couldn't take care of her, in my opinion. And also, Barbara Ann, straight out of context, brought up another great thing, which was that Dee Dee had filed with the police department for the drugs and the money that was stolen from her home, and Gypsy was the one who did it. And Barbara Ann said, well, maybe she was afraid to go to prison because of that, because if they found out she was the one who did it, so she murdered her mother for that, so she didn't have to go to prison, even though that's ironic because she went anyway. I think that's also a brilliant point. I don't think it's the only thing, though. But the point is just Gypsy is not the right person to be desperate, because she will do desperate, unthinkable things that she will conceive in her little bitty mind. And she doesn't care if she hurts anybody as a result. She will do whatever it takes to get what she wants. Now, what could that be? That's something we have to think about. And I can't help but think to myself, if she sees anybody in her way, she could get rid of them to get to Ken. And if Ken doesn't want her, then I worry a little bit for Ken. And people think, oh, well, that's extreme. How could you say that? But look what she's already done. She doesn't even take accountability for what she's already done. In her mind, she's done nothing. She talked about how it would be so great if her mother was gone. And then Nick did it, right? I don't think it played out that way, but that's how she's saying it. I didn't actually do it. I talked about it, but he actually did it. It's like, ugh. Who told him to? And I don't think he did it anyway. I think she was right there holding the knife with him saying, here, let me help you. Let me show you how it's done. I don't think that he did it. And he certainly didn't do it alone. It's so aggravating. In my opinion, it was like a rite of passage for their love. They did it together and then had sex immediately after. That's how I see it. That's what I think happened. I don't know what led to that. I still think that she attacked her mother before Nick even got there. But anyway, that's how I see it. They did it together, hand on hand, and then fucked. That's how I see it. And this person who did that is now, whatever was done, she admitted to doing it. She admitted to murdering her mom, or being a part of it, okay? That much we know. She took accountability for that much. She was there. She knew it was happening. So what is she going to do now? This is why I talk about her, is because right now is my biggest time of concern. If there is an Aurora, the baby, is she safe? I think so, because I don't think Gypsy ever takes care of her. If Aurora exists, which I don't know. I guess I'm 60-40, she doesn't. But if Aurora does, she is not in Gypsy's care. That was proven with another clip that I saw from Renelle. God, I hope I'm saying her name right. Renelle Smith. Where it showed some baby clothes that she had bought that were 18 months. And Gypsy's baby is supposed to be 10 months. Why the fuck can't she get the right size clothing for this supposed child? It doesn't make any sense. 0 to 3 months, 18 months, more 18 months. What are you doing? What do? You don't need to get clothes that big. I mean, my child was, I would say, slightly bigger than average. Not really. At 0 to 3 months, I would put her in maybe 4 to 6 months, just because I wanted to feel bigger, more comfy, especially when it was colder. I understand that. I had a relative who sent me a cute little jumper, and it was for 2 years. And she said, well, I know that this seems like it's way too big, but they grow up really fast. And she was right. By the time my child was a little over a year and a half, before 2, she fit into it pretty nicely. So I could put her in it then. So I understand getting a little bit bigger. Sure, why not? But that's a lot bigger. From 10 months to 18, that's a lot bigger. And the 0 to 3 for a 10-month-old, I mean, come on, she doesn't have a child. I can't believe that at least she's not raising a child. Put it that way. I will say that. She's not raising a child because parents don't do that. Now, I know children grow out of clothes really fast, but don't usually buy all these clothes that are so huge they can't move around. You want their child to move around. You don't want clothes that are too tight or too loose because they have to be able to pull themselves up and walk or crawl comfortably. You have to have clothes that fit for them to be able to crawl or walk. Otherwise, they could trip and they could fall and hurt themselves. It makes no sense. It racks my brain. There's no way that she is raising a child. There's no way that she could be raising a child when she spends all this time writing poetry and writing songs for Ken. Why is she doing it for Ken? Where's the songs for beautiful little baby Aurora, the baby? Why is her focus always on Ken? And she's getting desperate because Ken seems to, and I can only go by what I've seen, but Ken seems to not be there or not be there often. She's getting desperate for Ken. She's getting desperate for Dick, obviously. You know, all that, well, I got a Chad and you don't got a man. Ha, ha, ha. You know, it's being thrown right in her face, egg on her face now. What is she going to do in her desperation? This is where it's worrisome. Now, again, I think Aurora the baby, as she exists, is not with her. So I don't believe if there is a baby, I do not believe that the baby is in danger because the baby is not with Gypsy, if there is one. Okay. So I'm not worried about Aurora the baby. I am, though, worried about anybody else who is around her. Anybody else who she might see as a barrier to Ken, which could include Aurora the baby. But again, I don't believe that Aurora is in her care, so I'm not going to. Now, if somebody gave her Aurora the baby to take care of for any period of time, if the baby exists, then I would worry. Because she will get rid of any obstacle in her way. The worrying part is, would she get rid of Ken? Because she sees him as an obstacle for happiness. All I'm saying is Ken better watch his back. Because she is desperate. She is doing all these things that she's doing, trying to change the wiki page, writing songs and poetry about Ken and how we should love each other again. All those pictures of her and Ken. I mean, it's getting, to me, it's getting worrisome because it's ramping up. The desperation is ramping up. I mean, she's even calling Ryan. She's even calling Ryan and talking to Ryan about it. According to Ryan, the desperation is getting fierce. And I'm concerned. And do I really care about Gypsy or Ken or Ryan or anybody else in that family? No, I really don't, except for Aurora the baby, if she exists, which I'm not even sure of anymore. But I don't want anyone to be murdered. There's already one murder. Is she going to do another? And obviously, that's not a joke. Could she? Is she desperate enough Does she feel like she did with her mother and was so happy to eliminate her? She worked on that for over 4 years. Let's not forget the attempts before she even met Nick. What is she planning now? Think about that. She is in a desperate situation. She's unhappy. Her fairy tale is not coming true. What is she going to do to eliminate everything that's causing her from her fairy tale in order to get it? Because that is the way that she thinks. It's scary. I think it's kind of scary. But anyway, those were the things that I was thinking about today. Thank you again to Pink Chihuahua and Renelle Smith. Again, I hope I said that right. I read a lot, but my pronouncing things aren't always my greatest skill. But I tried, and if I'm corrected, I will say it correctly. Anyway, thank you for listening. Please, any comments you have, I would love to read them. There is going to be some new music coming soon, so look out for that. And that's all I got to say.